Vinil Shah, Advocate Bharat Sheth, Advocate Ratilal Vagashia, CA Harshil Sheth, Advocate Tejas Shah to escort our eminent speaker, CA A. Jatin Christopher ji, on the dais. Yes. We are starting with our second technical session. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to please maintain silence. We are starting with our second technical session. Privilege and honor to introduce our eminent speaker, CA A. Jatin Christopher, sir. Sir is Chartered Accountant, Cost Accountant and Law Graduate. He had qualified in the year 1996 and specializes in indirect tax laws. Practicing since 2000, I request everyone to please maintain the silence. Yeah. Qualified in the year 1996, specializes in indirect tax laws. Practicing since 2000 as a partner in GST, a full-service firm with presence across India. A published author and a resource person for ICAI in its various post-qualification programs on indirect taxation and publication of educational and research material on various indirect tax topics. A resource person for the government in conducting training for practitioners, trade and officers. With these words, here I welcome our today's eminent speaker, CA A. Jatin Christopher, sir, and the dais is all yours. And before that, I request Co-Chairman Conference, Advocate Bharat Sheth, to please present him a book. Now I request Co-Chairman Conference, Advocate Ashutosh Thakkar, to please present a memento to Christopher, sir. Thank you. Now I request sir to please be on the podium and the stage is all yours.
Good afternoon, friends. This is definitely a pleasure to be here at this wonderful conclave, and I see the response every year is very encouraging. And after that wonderful session from Girish Ahuja sir, it's very difficult to come close in engaging audience on a topic like GST. We need to recognize that notices in GST.
Sorry to interrupt. I request the audience to please maintain pin drop silence. Please continue.
Notices in GST have been coming thick and fast, and everyone's been concerned as to how to address notices. As regards what issues are there, I'm sure we have had many conferences, and I recognize that there are many eminent speakers sitting here who have themselves contributed in various conferences and seminars. Friends, let's ask ourselves first, what is the purpose of a notice? What is the purpose of a notice? And what is the purpose of a reply? A notice is not a search for the truth. If we are trying to find out what really happened, is this a supply? Is this not a supply? Is this credit admissible? Is this credit not admissible? We have to recognize that a notice is an alternate view canvassed by revenue. GST is full of provisions which are capable of more than one interpretation. Whether the alternate interpretation is the correct interpretation or not does not matter. if the provision is capable of an alternate interpretation, notice is the way to canvass that view. Can you think of a tax officer who will be pulled up, who will be questioned for not giving a notice? Is there any instance you can think of where an officer is asked to explain why he did not issue a notice? You understand? So recognize very clearly what is the chance of success that the department has enjoyed in the past. Department's chance of success in the past has been 15%. That means if the issue has at least a 15% chance of success, notice will be issued. So therefore, if anybody believes that notices are too many, notices are frivolous, I will give you another perspective to this, because today in this closed conclave where we are discussing between professional brothers and sisters, we need to bring certain things out into the open. What is the capability and the professional competence of members in this room? Contrast that with what is the academic capability of tax officers. Exactly, it is a laughable comparison. But if you see, there is a strategy that is working for the department. Department has a strategy. First, we will take data electronically. Then we will compare two returns. We will issue a notice. The taxpayer along with his consultant will complete the incomplete investigation. 2A is not matching 3B. किसका 2A 3B के साथ मैच हो रहा है? उन्हीं का जिनका नाम हम पेपर में पढ़ते हैं. जेन्युइन बिजनेस जो करते हैं उनका 2A 3B के साथ मैच करता ही नहीं. You understand? The strategy at work is just compare something with something and give a notice. There is a room full of intelligent people who are very proud that they have high capability, intellectual capability. They will complete the reconciliation. Please bear in mind, friends, how many of us have seen notices where something is not matching with something? And we have replied to such notice stating that if some record is not matching with some other record, how many have replied saying, so what? We'll go back a few years, service tax returns were not matching with 26 AS. 26 AS is not matching with ST3 returns. 26 AS is not supposed to match with ST3 return. If it matches, you should be worried. During GST audit period, we had this discussion saying that how to do reconciliation of financials with annual returns. We all understand how to do the reconciliation. There was one question somebody asked in the audience saying that if there are two clients, one client जिसका books and GST 9 is not matching, दूसरा जिसका books और GST returns are matching, which client you will be more worried? So there was a senior member who stood up and said, of course जिसका match नहीं कर रहा है तो I know how to do the reconciliation, तो उसका कोई चिंता नहीं है. जिसका match हो रहा है, चिंता उधर है, भाई पता नहीं कहाँ ढूंढे. तो that senior member said, sir I have a suggestion. बताइए, पहले तो उसको मैच ना करने जैसा कर देते हैं, उसके बाद उसको रिकंसाइल भी कर देंगे. Friends, please bear in mind, the purpose of reconciliation is that the two sets of data are not in harmony. They are not in harmony, therefore there will be mismatch. But then what happens is, टैक्स पेयर को, टैक्स प्रोफेशनल को चाहिए कि आई डोंट वांट एनी नोटिस. सो आई वाज टॉकिंग in the morning on the way from the airport. So the comment that was the view that was shared was clients don't want litigation. Bangalore में ये बोलते हैं when a notice is received the client tells the consultant sir आप इसको settle कर दो. I don't know if you know what it means. What is the word in Ahmedabad? Same. One nation, one tax, one settlement. Everything is synchronized. Friends, please bear in mind, we have to rise above this. We have to rise above this because a notice is issued not because self-assessment carried out is wrong. A notice is issued because another view can be canvassed. If you are paying 5% without ITC, why not 12%? If you are paying 12% with ITC, why not 5% without ITC? Your supplier has registration has been cancelled, so you are purchasing fake bills. Please bear in mind, taxpayer does two things which are totally counterproductive. One, taxpayer is blinded by his innocence. हमने तो कुछ किया नहीं है. गिरीश सर ने बोल दिया कि ये सब काम बंद करो, हम बंद कर दिए. टैक्स कॉन्क्लेव लास्ट ईयर के बाद ही बंद कर दिए. We are blinded by our innocence and we are parading what is the truth in the business. Friends, please bear in mind, in GST, truth does not matter. Facts matter. What are facts? Facts are allegations backed up by sufficient proof or allegations that are not disputed by the taxpayer. 2A is not matching 3B, we are giving reconciliation. 2A is not matching 3B, we are giving reconciliation, which means not matching 2A with 3B is a violation. We have accepted. Friends, please keep this aspect in mind. Maybe these are points that you are already familiar with. I want to present certain other aspects for you to please consider. If notice is not a search for the truth, if notice is to canvass an alternate interpretation just because it is possible, what is the purpose of a reply? The purpose of a reply is not a justification of self-assessment. A purpose of a reply is not to prove my innocence. A purpose of a reply is to disclose the stand I am taking. A purpose of a reply is to disclose the stand I am taking. What is my reply? My reply is, two parts of reply will always be there. One, I dispute the demand. I dispute the demand. Part number one. Part number two, I reject the allegation. Why do you dispute the demand? You are not the final authority to sit in judgment whether the disputing of the demand is right or not. Somebody else is there. My stand is that I dispute the demand. The allegation which you are making, I reject it. When the demand is disputed, there are certain legal consequences. There are certain legal consequences. When a demand is disputed, it goes out of 7512. If a demand is undisputed, it can become an undisputed arrear under 7512. You know, 86, 88C, 88D and 142B. So please be very careful. I'll give you an instance of a notice. We got a show cause notice demanding interest under 73. Assessee has discharged tax. Show cause notice is issued saying you are liable to pay interest. Short reply. Short reply is filed. 73 permits show cause notice to be issued when there is non-payment, short payment, credit wrongly taken, credit wrongly utilized or refund erroneously sanctioned. There is no cause of action in 73 to demand only interest. So show cause notice should be dropped. Another instance, a notice was issued saying assessee has paid 6 crores tax through 3B without interest. He has paid 6 crores tax through 3B without interest. Show cause notice is issued demanding tax, demanding interest along with applicable penalty. In the first instance, the stand taken was there is no power in 73 to issue a notice for demanding only interest. In the second instance, show cause notice was issued demanding the tax that is already discharged. So the reply given in the second instance was when tax is admitted to be discharged already, how can there be a show cause notice? Friends, please be very, very mindful. Please be very, very mindful. In GST, the pursuit is additional revenues. The pursuit is additional revenues because there are very serious misinterpretation of the law that has taken place in circulars itself. There are very serious misapplication of law carried out in the minutes recorded in GST Council meeting versus circular issued pursuant to those decisions. Now, whether we are happy with the interpretation or not, it does not matter. This is adversarial. There are two sides. Here somebody will take a view, here somebody else has to take a view. It has to be decided somebody who is neutral and at a higher level who will see both those positions. Why this is very important is because in GST, the most powerful section, if you ask me, I would say section 59. 59 says every registered person shall self-assess the tax payable under this act. Who is the person to decide what is tax payable? Taxpayer himself. Self-assessment, does it have to be accurate? Self-assessment, does it have to be accurate? See, self-assessment has to be done truthfully. Truthfully carrying out self-assessment is very different from accurately carrying out self-assessment. I am sure all of us have written exams throughout our studying years. We've all written exams. Anybody got 100 out of 100 in any paper? But because you did not get 100 out of 100 in any paper, does it mean you wrote the exam only for 1 hour? You understand? Truthfully carrying out self-assessment is very different from accurately carrying out self-assessment. So therefore, I would only urge you, be confident about the self-assessment carried out. Why this confidence is necessary? I am sure members here have all filed returns. Everybody's filed returns. Many stay back very late on 20th and file returns. December, somebody was saying that a friend of mine, his wife was saying that last 3 years, 4 years, they have not had December holiday, family vacation because of 99C. So I asked my friend, you are staying back late every 20th. What time do you go back home on 20th? 20th, 11:30, 12 o'clock हो ही जाता है रात को. So I called up his house one of the month on 20th. I said, is Ranjit at home? क्या बात कर रहे हो भाई साहब? पता है आपको आज 20th है. His wife is a doctor. She knows what is the due date for GST returns. आज तो 20th है, वो घर पे नहीं आएंगे, रात को देर से आएंगे. So I asked him, so all the returns are accurate? No notices? अरे मत पूछो. Every month I am getting notice. मतलब the returns that he is filing up to staying back till 11:30 at night is wrong. Anybody has filed wrong returns? Please raise your hand. Nobody. Anybody has filed all perfect returns? अगर गलत ही फाइल करना है तो 4 बजे को फाइल कर निकल लो. What are you waiting in office till 11:30? नहीं, वो तसल्ली है, satisfaction. Friends, please bear in mind, 99C, December, एक्सटेंशन करो, करते करते वो एक्सटेंशन भी होता रहा। ऑल रिटर्न्स आर परफेक्ट। एक बार ऐसे हुआ, somebody spent 20 days for doing 99C, 20 days with work papers, essay, ये सब कुछ prepared detailed workings, reconciliation करते करते he filed. When he is about to file the return, he clicked the auto populated file. अभी हो जाता है गलतियां। अभी कितने गलतियां करते कोई? अभी डिपेंड, हर कोई अपने अपने कैपेसिटी के हिसाब से करते हैं। किसी का कम होगा, किसी का ज्यादा होगा। अहमदाबाद में कम, बेंगलोर में ज्यादा है। सो प्लीज बेयर इन माइंड। राज की बात बताऊं, ऑल द रिटर्न्स आर रॉन्ग। चलो, विल टेक वन मोर एग्जांपल। बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, इज इट ए रिलायबल सोर्स ऑफ एविडेंस? तो इतना मेहनत करके जो बुक्स बनाते हैं, P&L, कैश फ्लो, बैलेंस शीट, शेड्यूल्स, नोट्स वगैरह वगैरह, वॉट एवर वी प्रिपेयर, is it a reliable source of evidence? Section 34 Indian Evidence Act 1872, 145 years before GST, बोल के निकल गए कि बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स इज नॉट ए रिलायबल सोर्स ऑफ एविडेंस। ये ऑफिसर को बताना मत। दे आर कंपेयरिंग 3B is not matching with financial, 3B is wrong, books of account is not reliable, then what are you comparing? Recently we had one instance during hearing. Department said you have not paid a reverse charge. You have not paid reverse charge on royalty. So the short reply, normally what happens friends, when the answer is long, it's most likely wrong. Correct ना? When you don't know, कहने लायक अगर कोई चार बातें हैं तो 2 पन्नों में कहा जा सकता है। अगर कुछ नहीं है कहने के लिए तो एक्स्ट्रा आंसर पेपर लेंगे। करेक्ट? कम से कम 40 नंबर आ जाए तो ये पेपर निकल जाएगा। Short reply saying that reverse charge already paid. You cannot demand a reverse charge once again. During hearing officer हैरान हो गए। आप कह रहे हो कि आपने RCM दे दिया? हाँ, लेकिन योर GSTR 9 इट इज सेइंग RCM कॉलम में 0, वो भी सही है, इट इज सेइंग 0, तो हाउ डू यू एक्सप्लेन? जाहिर है GSTR 9 इज रॉन्ग। नहीं, आप बात समझिए, GSTR 9 इज गलत। GSTR 9 फाइल नहीं करने से क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है? पेनल्टी। गलत GSTR 9 फाइल करने से क्या प्रॉब्लम? प्लीज कीप इन माइंड, GST notices is not a search for the truth. It is to garner additional revenue. The purpose is not to find out what is going on in the business. The purpose is not to find out what is going on in the business. I'll give an example why the purpose is not to find out what's going on in the business. Sweet stall, जहां पे वो स्वीट्स बना के बेचते हैं, स्वीट शॉप, sweets which are made in the shop and sold, is it a goods or a service? 3 things are very dangerous in GST. 1 is the common sense. 2 is the logic. 3 is experience. All of us are students of the law. MC very kindly introduced me as having many years of irrelevant experience. I keep suggesting वो 1996 वो छोड़ दीजिए, वो कोई काम का नहीं, वो रखते हैं, माहौल बनाने के लिए चाहिए। पर 1996 से क्या, GST तो 17 में आया। All of us are having same experience. I come here, स्वार्थ है मेरा, to come here and understand कि आप क्या गलतियां कर रहे हो, ये मुझे सीख के जाना है, और मेरा जो गलतियां हैं आपसे शेयर करता हुआ जाऊं, ताकि ये गलतियां आप ना करें, आप कोई अलग किस्म का करें। सेम टू सेम करने में क्या मजा है? So therefore, please bear in mind, friends, it is not a search for the truth, it is a stand department is taking. If department gives a notice that is wrong, and you pay the demand, is the department allowed to retain that money? Department gives a notice. Notice is totally wrong. Notice is totally wrong, and you pay the tax. Should the department return back the money, or can the department keep the money? If the tax is really payable and you are not paid the tax, department did not give the show cause notice. Are you supposed to pay the tax, or are you not supposed to pay the tax? One chartered accountant called me saying that, sir, I have received a show cause notice for 1718. I have received the show cause notice for 1718. The date of the show cause notice is 8th January 2024. The liability is 12 crores. 2017-18, liability is 12 crores. Notice is dated 8th January 2024. So I asked this person, it is issued under which section? 73? Yeah, 74. He said it is issued under 73. I want you to urgently come and we should have a meeting. We should see how to reply to this notice. Said, you send the notice, I will go through it, then we will decide about replying to this notice. I saw the notice, 1718, 12 crores demand, issued under 73. It is dated 8th January. You can reply to this notice, no problem. नहीं, इतने बड़े रकम का नोटिस है, क्या आप इसका कुछ कर सकते हो? तो I asked the client only two questions. Question number one, do you want to pay the tax? अक्सर ये होता है कि वो कंसल्टेंट से पूछते हैं, सर नोटिस आ गया, भरना है क्या? वो मोमेंट में क्या होता है, कॉन्फिडेंस उभर के बाहर आ जाता है, नहीं नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं, क्या बात कर रहे हो? नो, ठीक है, तो वारंटी के नाम से आप ही लड़ लो. नोटिस पकड़ा के चले जाते हैं एंड यू हैव टू डील विथ इट. शुरू वो पहले सवाल का जो हमने कॉन्फिडेंटली जवाब दे दिया कि नहीं नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं, केस लॉ है, फलान है, चेयरमैन हमको पता है, उनसे बात कर लेंगे, वो हमको केस लॉ दे देंगे. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, डू यू वांट टू पे द टैक्स? हाउ डज ए टैक्स पेयर डिसाइड व्हाट टू डू विथ ए नोटिस? Do you think a taxpayer will look at the various case laws to decide whether the tax is payable or not? Do you think the taxpayer will look at the various interpretation about the provision to decide whether to pay the tax or not? Taxpayer will simply do cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis. कितना टैक्स है, कितना टाइम लगेगा, कितना फीस है आपका, प्रोबेबिलिटी क्या है, उस पे ब्याज क्या है, अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर टैक्स पेयर इज, डू यू वांट टू पे द टैक्स? सो टैक्स पेयर सेड, इतने पैसे तो मेरे पास है ही नहीं, आई एम वेरी वेरी हैप्पी. जब पैसे होते हैं तो दुविधा, भरना है नहीं भरना है. जब पैसे नहीं होते हैं तो क्लैरिटी है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, फीस के पैसे हैं, क्लैरिटी. अगर फीस के पैसे हैं तो हर नोटिस का कुछ ना कुछ कर ही सकते हैं. क्या आप फाइट कर सकते हो? हाउ टू हैंडल शो कॉज नोटिस? कलेक्ट द फीस इन एडवांस. जो पैसे नहीं मांग सकता वो कॉन्फ्रेंस में बैठे हैं, जो मांग सकते हैं वो डिपार्टमेंट में बैठे हैं. शाई, हेजिटेशन, प्रोफेशनल इंटेग्रिटी, पता नहीं अनाप शनाप क्या क्या समझ के आ गए हम लोग. क्लैरिटी के साथ एडवांस में फीस. तो शॉर्ट रिप्लाई, क्लाइंट ने कहा 12 करोड़ का डिमांड है, तो एक काम कीजिएगा, कैन यू गिव ए डिटेल्ड रिप्लाई? कभी आपने सुना है पेशेंट सर्जन को सलाह देते हुए? लेकिन सिर्फ हमारे प्रोफेशन में यह हो चुका है. जिम्मेदार कौन है? जो प्रोफेशन के परिस्थिति है उसके जिम्मेदार कौन है? डॉक्टर साहब खुद. क्योंकि हमें पूछते करना क्या है. एक्सरे देख के यहां पे डॉक्टर साहब रो रहे, एक सज्जन फोन कर दिए मुझे, जतिन नोटिस आ गया, नोटिस आ गया। मतलब क्या नोटिस आ गया? पता नहीं, नोटिस आ गया। मतलब कौन सा सेक्शन में? नहीं, मैंने वो लिफाफा खोल के देखा नहीं है। ऊपर देखे कमिश्नर ऑफ सेंट्रल टैक्स, तो फोन मिला लिए। मतलब खोल के तो देखो क्या है अंदर। खोले ADT 1 नोटिस टू कमेंस ऑडिट, बस टेंशन। तो इस केस में 12 करोड़ के डिमांड में शॉर्ट रिप्लाई, क्योंकि क्लाइंट सजेशन नहीं दे सकते कि रिप्लाई कैसे करना है। शॉर्ट रिप्लाई, respected sir, received show cause notice for 1718 under section 73 dated 8th January 24. The notice is time barred, kindly drop the demand, thank you very much. इतने फीस का इतना ही रिप्लाई। ये क्या बफे है कि ज्यादा देंगे तो 25 आइटम? ने व्हाट इज द मेरिट्स? मेरिट्स का पता नहीं है। लिमिटेशन पहले पार हो जाए, उसके बाद मेरिट्स में देखते हैं। नो नो, आई डोंट अग्री विथ यू, आई वांट टू कंफर्म द डिमांड। थैंक यू वेरी मच, प्लीज कंफर्म, क्योंकि अपील के भी फीस लेने हैं। वो नेक्स्ट पार्ट, हाउ टू डील विथ अपेलेट रेमेडीज। फ्रेंड्स, प्लीज बेयर इन माइंड, the purpose of response is not to expose the truth. The purpose of the response is to strengthen the case. Every notice will conclude in an adverse order. Every adverse order will go in appeal. Every notice that concludes in a favorable order, department will go in appeal. In appeal, if you get a favorable order under 108, there is 3 years time to overturn that order. So all of us will meet in tribunal. There is no escaping. Somebody came and said that, sir, I know the joint commissioner. हमारे गांव से है, होता है यहाँ पे भी। वहां पे ऐसा है कि नाम कि वो सरनेम देखने से पता चल जाता है ये कहां से है। और हमारे जो टैक्स बार एसोसिएशन है, टैक्स कंसल्टेंट्स की एसोसिएशन है, वहां पे मैनेजिंग कमिटी हम ऐसे वेल कनेक्टेड पीपल को चुनते हैं ताकि वो सारे 31 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में उनका कांटेक्ट हो। सिंपल है सर, यू आर डूइंग गुड सर्विस, आई डोंट वांट टू नो सर, आई विल नॉट वोट फॉर यू। आपको एकदम बॉर्डर स्टेट, बॉर्डर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कांटेक्ट है तो यू आर सेलेक्टेड। तो सरनेम पकड़ के चलते हैं, नोटिस को नीचे से पढ़ते हैं, ऊपर से नहीं। सेक्शन से क्या मतलब है? व्हाट इज द सेक्शन से कोई मतलब ही नहीं है। कौन है? सरनेम, अच्छा समझ में आ गया, इनसे बात करो, इनसे कांटेक्ट। Please bear in mind, the essence of a notice is, every notice will go into appeal, you will get relief finally, but you have to keep the relief that you want in mind and decide the first step. You have to decide the first step. Weaken the case to win the case. You have to weaken the case to win the case. But we are doing exact opposite. Full reconciliation, everything we will provide. There is one instance where in appeal, department has issued a notice saying this is not matching with that. So we filed a reply was rejected, we went in appeal. Appellate authority said, the client is a contractor. Client is a contractor. So I said, how did you come to conclusion the client is a contractor? What is the... See, works contract has a definition in the law. Works contract has a definition in the law, 219. To decide that somebody is a works contractor, somebody must understand what is a works contract, and they must come to know that this person is doing works contract, therefore they can come to the conclusion. So the first objection was, the assumption that the registered person is a contractor is wrong. Now what is happening? Nobody knows what is the business of the client. So the appellate authority asked, what does your client do? What does your client do? So the reply given to the appellate authority was, that is the essential dispute in this matter. Nobody knows what my client is doing. So the appellate authority understood where this is going. Next question. I will give you one more opportunity. He is your client. Please tell me what is the business of your client. Sir, I don't know what is the business of my client. Why do you not know what is the business of your client? I don't want to know what is not relevant for the case. I don't want to know what is not relevant for the case, therefore I don't know. I will give you last chance. I will give you last chance. Please make it very clear what is the nature of activities of your client. With folded hands, a request was made. Dear sir, with the utmost respect, I am requesting you to permit me not to introduce new information such a late stage of the proceedings. Appellate authority is not the proper officer under 65 or 67 or 61. Appeal is to decide whether the adjudication order is right or wrong. In another instance, appellate authority agreed, saying that I agree with you that the adjudicating authority has done a mistake. The order that he has passed is totally wrong. The adjudicating authority is totally wrong. What he has done is a big mistake. He should not have done such things. Please bring the books of accounts. Again here, sir, with utmost respect, I am refusing to bring the books of accounts during appeal. हैरान हो गए. I am the fact-finding authority. You have to bring the books. I am the fact-finding authority. You have to bring the books. I said, please record that I am not going to bring the books. The fact you have to find from the file. You cannot go beyond the file to find the fact. Third argument, under proviso, second proviso to 107(11), you are having power to give show cause notice. Please give me show cause notice. Please give me show cause notice and find out new information. My reply is, I will not give the books of accounts. Friends, please be extremely careful. There is a revenue bias in adjudication and appeal. If anybody thinks you will get justice, there can be nobody who is more misinformed than such a person. There is a revenue bias. Now you have to keep in mind that when a biased mind is at work, कोशिश हमेशा ये रहेगी कि डिमांड को कैसे बचाया जाए. You know who is assisting the department to save the demand? Tax consultant. टैक्स कंसल्टेंट. हमारे जो स्टूडेंट डेज से हमको सिखाया गया था कि ऑफिसर्स के साथ अच्छा रिलेशन मेंटेन करना चाहिए. इफ इट इज ट्रू, you know it. If you did not learn this, then you don't have to agree with this. You must have good relations with officer, then your practice will improve. रिलेशनशिप को मेंटेन करने के नाते अधूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन, अधूरा ऑडिट को हम सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में करके दे रहे. यस और नो? यस और नो? सो देयरफॉर व्हेन एनी क्लाइंट्स activities are taken up for any proceeding, 61, 62, 63, 65, 67, any preliminary proceedings, if it is taken up, the purpose is not to give clean chit. Yes, purpose is to give clean chit. I got a show cause notice सेइंग आपका डिप्रिसिएशन बहुत ज्यादा है। आपका डिप्रिसिएशन इतना ज्यादा क्यों है? अभी देखो, डिप्रिसिएशन जो है सो है, ज्यादा है कम है, कैपिटल गुड्स का वैल्यू ज्यादा है, शायद इसके वजह से डिप्रिसिएशन ज्यादा है। I got a show cause notice demanding GST on a depreciation. So therefore, there is no shame in giving a frivolous notice. There is no shame in giving a frivolous notice. There is blame if you don't give a notice. If you select any assessee, there is only two choice, DRC 3 or DRC 1. DRC 3 or DRC 1, there is no other option. So therefore, if you keep in mind कि ये सामने वाला is decided to give you a notice, you have to therefore decide what reply has to be given. Now normally, married people understand this sentiment very nicely, especially if you are having more than 20 years of happy married life. You will know some questions choice में छोड़ देना चाहिए। ज्यादा उत्सुक होके चॉइस में 120 नंबर के आंसर देंगे तो वीकेंड पे सेमिनार अटेंड करना पड़ेगा। You understand? We have to be very careful when audit is commenced, when pre-notice proceedings are taking place. Be very careful whether the ingredients of the section are established. The reason why I say this, we're talking about show cause notice, but we have to understand how did the situation reach show cause notice stage. There are 90% of investigations which are not reaching show cause notice. 90% of investigations are not reaching show cause notice. Is it good or not good? Summons is issued asking for information. Have you received summons? You have received summons asking for information. As soon as you are receiving summons, you are furnishing all the information. There was a training for departmental officers about search proceedings, 67. So one of the requirement was there must be prior knowledge about evasion of tax. There must be prior knowledge about evasion of tax. Only then you have jurisdiction to take action under section 67. So the officer said, अगर हमको पहले से ही पता होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे इवेजन हो रहा है, वो इंफॉर्मेशन कहाँ से आएगा? जाके पता लगाएंगे तो कुछ ना कुछ मिल ही जाएगा। You understand the difference between prior knowledge and after discovery. Prior knowledge and after discovery. 67 requires that there should be prior knowledge. There was a recent incident I was discussing in the morning. Officer issued a notice saying that please produce books for 6 years, we want to do audit. Please produce your books for 6 years, we want to do audit. Assessee gave a reply providing books for 3 years. Officer said, why you are not giving 6 years books of accounts? He said it is time barred. Therefore you don't have jurisdiction. No, under 74 it is not time barred. Possible. Under 74 it is not time barred. But evasion kahan hai? You cannot assume there is evasion. Is it all right? Is it all right not to give information? There is no morality, professional integrity here. Every case needs to be handled on its merits. Is it all right not to give information beyond limitation? Have we ever written a letter to the department saying, I will not give you information? Relationship maintain जो करना है, relationship जो maintain करना है, इस केस में ये पोजीशन लेंगे तो दूसरे केस में तकलीफ हो सकता है. Is it possible? Friends, my request to you, there is no instance where an officer will assume that he will not give you cooperation in other cases if you don't give information in a particular case. I would even say there is an off, just like professionals, chartered accountants, tax consultants, advocates sit and discuss. ये नोटिस इनसे आया है, कैसे है, ये बंदा कैसा है, हाउ इज दिस ऑफिसर, होता नहीं होता है. उसी तरह ऑफिसर्स भी बैठ के डिस्कस करते, ये क्लाइंट कैसा है, कौन है इनका कंसल्टेंट, कैसे है. प्लीज बेर इन माइंड, in that conversation, the discussion is whether the consultant is doing good service for his client or he is doing disservice for his client. एक काम करो, ये कंसल्टेंट को चेंज करो, इनको रखो, सारा इंफॉर्मेशन ये करके देंगे, आराम से बैठो, दिस इज नॉट मैचिंग विद दैट बोल दो, दिन रात एक करके रिकंसिलिएशन सब बना के देंगे. ऐसे एकदम स्टेटमेंट बना के देंगे, कॉलम कम पड़ गया तो ऐसे बना के देंगे, ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन रहा तो मल्टीपल शीट्स में पावर लुकअप करके देंगे. प्लीज बेयर इन माइंड, देर इज ए प्रोसेस, देर इज अ स्ट्रेटेजी. डिपार्टमेंट हैज अ स्ट्रेटेजी एंड आई फील इट इज वर्किंग. क्वेश्चन टू यू इज, डू यू हैव अ स्ट्रेटेजी? डू यू हैव अ स्ट्रेटेजी? हाउ मेनी इश्यूज आर देयर? देर आर सम 40 इश्यूज इन जीएसटी. मार मूर के अगर देखो तो ओनली 40 issues. All the issues in the last 6-7 years, there are only 40 issues in GST, which will cover 99% of all notices. 40 issues, can you not come up with 40 strategies? If you have a strategy, you know how to reply to the notice. You know how to reply to the notice. There is a taxpayer, his turnover is 100 crores. His turnover is 100 crores. He is providing some services to government agencies. Department sent a letter to him saying that we have to do audit. Please produce books of accounts. He has not produced the books of accounts. Department sent a final intimation saying that you have to produce the books of accounts. Officer called and said, please tell your client to send the books of accounts. He said, we are not doing their returns, so I don't know about their books of accounts. I will find out, give me 2 days time. I found out that the client does not have books of accounts. मतलब उनके जो अकाउंटेंट थे वो छोड़ के चले गए, फिर सोचे रहने देते, नो बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. अगर यही बात 20 साल पहले होती तो दिन रात एक करके बुक्स को रिकंस्ट्रक्ट करके देते. तो ऑफिसर को कॉल किया मैंने 2 दिन बाद, सर इस केस में बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स नहीं है. नहीं, आई विल गिव यू 2 months टाइम, कुछ करके मुझे बुक्स रेडी करके दो. नहीं सर, नो बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, काइंडली प्रोसीड. गुस्सा कर गए. सामने वाला जब गुस्सा करता है तो ये क्या बताता है, हम सही दिशा पे चल रहे हैं, हमें रिश्ता कोई बना के रखना नहीं है. सामने वाला जब गुस्सा करता है ये इंडिकेट करता है कि हम सही जा रहे हैं. 6 महीने बाद ऑडिट रिपोर्ट आ गया, 2 crore 25 lakh डिमांड, समथिंग नॉट मैचिंग समथिंग, समथिंग एल्स नॉट मैचिंग विथ समथिंग, नथिंग मैचिंग विथ एनीथिंग. वेरी गुड. 100 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है, 18% के हिसाब से उसका लायबिलिटी बनता है 18 करोड़. ब्याज और पेनल्टी अलग से, आईटीसी सेपरेट इश्यू, 2 crore 25 lakh. उन्होंने पूछा बस इतना ही जमा कर दे. देखो, यू वांट टू पे द टैक्स, आई विल नॉट गिव द आंसर. इफ यू वांट टू पे द टैक्स, पुल का काम रुका हुआ है, पैसे का सख्त जरूरत है, तो यू प्लीज टेक अ डिसीजन. अगर पेमेंट नहीं करने तो कोई उपाय है, फाइट कर सकते हैं, अपील फाइल करना है. इसका भी अपील होगा, फीस दोगे तो हर नोटिस का अपील हो सकता है. तो ही हैज पेड 10% deposit and the matter is in appeal. Please bear in mind, friends, the purpose of a notice is not to search for the truth. The purpose of the notice is to canvass an alternate interpretation. The purpose of a reply is not to justify self-assessment. Purpose of a notice is to disclose the self-assessment. This is taxable, this is not taxable. Please give a detailed write-up about your business. Please give a detailed write-up about your business. Which section? Which is the section that says you have to give a detailed write-up about the business? MBBS पढ़ने के पैसे नहीं देते, दवाई लिख के देने के लिए पैसे देते डॉक्टर साहब को ही. तो प्रॉपर ऑफिसर को क्या डिटेल्ड राइटअप? नो डिटेल्ड राइटअप. वॉट एवर यू राइटअप यू वांट, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम द returns that are filed. No detailed write-up. Friends, please bear in mind, we have this big burden on our head. We have a big burden on our head. Notice नहीं आना चाहिए. Notice आ गया तो it is a remark on our professional work. Notice नहीं आना चाहिए. लेकिन क्या करें, notice सबको आएगा. Everybody will get the notice. If you did not get the notice, please check your login. It is already reached. Everybody will get the notice because officer is also under pressure because system is giving them information. System generated notice वो अलग से. अभी ऑफिसर को भी परमिशन का जरूरत नहीं है. नोटिस उनके नाम से निकला जा रहा है. दिस इज नॉट मैचिंग विद दैट, दैट इज नॉट मैचिंग विद दिस. एक किसी ने कहा एक सेमिनार में आकर के कि हिज क्लाइंट हैज स्टार्टेड ए फैक्ट्री, मैन्युफैक्चर करने का फैक्ट्री है. क्या मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं? इनवॉइस. Our job is not to sit and judge the taxpayer's morality. Our job is to decide what has to be done in a particular case. When we interpret the law, if you are a good consultant, you will always say it is exempt from tax. Is it taxable? नहीं. क्यों? पता नहीं. मैं अहमदाबाद जा रहा हूं, कॉन्क्लेव के बाद आके बताऊंगा कि वाई इट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल. वहां कुछ ना कुछ केस लॉ मिल ही जाएगा लंच टाइम में या टी टाइम में. 16(4) का क्या? नो अलाउड, क्रेडिट अलाउड. 2A 3B नो नीड टू पे. वी हैव लॉयल्टी टू आवर क्लाइंट्स. आवर क्लाइंट्स हैव लॉयल्टी टू अस. अगर आपके कंपेटिटर का आपके पास मोबाइल नंबर नहीं है, ढूंढना मत. क्लाइंट को फोन करके उनसे पूछ लो, सभी के नंबर उनके पास है. देन वी आर बिल्डिंग लॉयल्टी टू द डिपार्टमेंट. ये हमारे गांव से है, दूर के रिश्तेदार भी है. वी आर बिल्डिंग लॉयल्टी टू द क्लाइंट. आवर लॉयल्टी, माई व्यू इज दैट आवर शुड नाइदर बी टू द क्लाइंट नॉर टू द डिपार्टमेंट. Our loyalty should be to the law. Our loyalty should be to the law and our craft. If we focus on that, clients will come looking for us because they don't want someone to do settlement. They are very good. रोज करते हैं. हम every financial year करते हैं, वो every day करते हैं. You understand? So therefore, if there is a client in Ahmedabad or in any city where you are from, who does not want to do the settlement, who does not want to do any such mischievous things, my question is, are you the person who he can talk to? पेशेंट सर्जरी के लिए ना तब तक कहेगा जब तक उसको सर्जन के आंखों में खौफ दिखाई देता है. अभी सिचुएशन ऐसा है कि एक्सरे देख के डॉक्टर साहब रो रहे, कूट कूट के रो रहे. अरे नोटिस आ गया, नोटिस आ. चलो कॉन्क्लेव चलते हैं, नोटिस के बारे में कॉन्क्लेव. प्लीज बेयर इन माइंड, नोटिस विल कम. एवरी नोटिस हैज अ रेस्पॉन्स. द रेस्पॉन्स नीड टू बी बेस्ड ऑन ए स्ट्रेटेजी. GST notices are not like 2020, 7 बजे को टॉस, 11 बजे को रिजल्ट. GST is like a टेस्ट मैच. 5th डे का पिच कंडीशन को दिमाग में रख के डिसाइड करना होगा टॉस के टाइम बैटिंग या फील्डिंग. मैच जीतने के बहुत तरीके हैं. देयर आर मेनी वेज टू विन द मैच. कभी अच्छा रन स्कोर करके मैच जीता जा सकता है, कभी अच्छा बॉलिंग करके मैच जीता जा सकता है, कभी कभार डकवर्थ लुइस से भी जीता जा सकता है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Christopher, sir, for wonderful deliberation. Any questions from the audience? Yes.
नहीं लेते हैं, इसलिए बोलते हैं DRC 7 कर दिया, अभी अपील करना पड़ेगा एटलीस्ट 7 के अगेंस्ट में।
ऑल बेसिक सिचुएशन ऐसा है, एक साल में कोई नोटिस आया था, उसको लेके क्लाइंट ने हाई कोर्ट में रिट पिटिशन फाइल कर दिया, वहां पे स्टे हो गया। सब्सिक्वेंट पीरियड के लिए उस इशू के अलावा बाकी सारे इश्यूज को लेकर के
सब्सिक्वेंट वही सेम पीरियड
को उस इश्यू को छोड़ के बाकी सारे इश्यूज पे नोटिस आया और ऑर्डर भी हो गया और DRC 7 आ चुका है। उसके बारे में करना क्या है, प्लीज बेयर इन माइंड, रिट पिटिशन, द हाई कोर्ट इज फोकसिंग ऑन मोल्डिंग द रिलीफ। उस पिटिशनर को इस सिचुएशन में रिलीफ कैसे देना चाहिए, इसके बारे में रिट पिटिशन इज फोकसिंग ऑन। रिट पिटिशन इज नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन एक्सप्लेनिंग द इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ द सेक्शन। रिट पिटिशन अंडर 226, 227 is different from 117 of GST law, revision petition before High Court. When you have a DRC 7, please file appeal within 3 months plus 1 month condonation. If you don't file appeal within 3 months, the demand will go into recovery because this notice is not covered by the writ petition. Alternatively, you have to file a miscellaneous application before petition before High Court and implement this also within that writ petition. My sense is the two are not connected. High Court will not keep expanding the scope of the writ. This DRC 7, you have to file appeal.
Sir, DRC 01, there are certain issues, but can proper officer travel beyond the issues mentioned in DRC 01? That is my primary question. Subsequent question is that can proper officer travel beyond the jurisdiction of specific issue which has been mentioned in DRC 01, but that has been dropped. For example, the ITC matter. And ITC matter, we have complied with, he understood, he agreed with that. But RCM point is not mentioned in that. Can he go to the RCM?
No, sir. It is not possible. If you see chapter 15 of the Act, very clearly notice of demand has to be raised on specific cause of action. Non-payment of tax, short payment of tax, refund wrongly sanctioned, credit wrongly taken, credit wrongly utilized. They have to say what has been done, what is the cause of action, and what remedy has to be done against it. Once an issue is raised, they cannot add issues during adjudication. The safeguard for that is found in section 75(7). Not only new issues cannot be added, even the issue which is added, the grounds cannot be altered in the adjudication order. So safeguard is in 75(7), they cannot do that, sir. This is not a search for the truth. This is a view being canvassed. One person is saying, I will not give books, 99 persons are giving the books. So chance pe dance. You should reply that you will not give the books, लेकिन relationship खराब हो जाएगा. Legally, there is no bar in calling for information. Legally, you have a right to refuse giving information beyond 3 years. But if they suspect there is evasion of tax, then they should come under 67, not 65. 67, inspection, search, seizure, they can come under 67 because 67 is meant for evasion. 65 is to verify the correctness of compliances, 213. So therefore, they cannot ask for information, but legally there is no bar, they are asking. Friends, please bear in mind, this law is drafted by officers. This law is maybe reviewed by draftsmen. This law is drafted by practical aspects you can find everywhere. It is not difficult to specify a time limit in 65, but it is deliberately kept open for your benefit because you will give 5 years records, 6 years records also. I will not give more than 3 years records. Some cases I will not give any records. That's the answer.
So currently what the GST audit department is doing if there are any unsettled audit paras, they always resort to section 44, section 74 notices. Even though when you reply to them in the draft, when we receive the draft audit report, when we reply that section 74 is not invocable because the ingredients of that section are not being fulfilled, there is no fraud, there is no willful misstatement, neither there is suppression of facts, because suppression is well defined under explanation 2 to section 74. Something which I am obliged to provide and I don't provide, only then it comes under suppression. What they say, there is usually a parrot-like chantation that just because audit was done.
Understood.
So can we resort to a writ petition against a show cause notice which is issued under section 74?
Writ petition is not maintainable when there is anticipation that officer will do something wrong. Officer should imminently do something wrong, then writ petition is maintainable. But why are you in a hurry to go to High Court? Officer, now tell me something, do you think officer does not know all the information that you are trying to explain to him?
He knows, obviously.
You are married?
Yes.
Married. When you go home at 1 o'clock at night, whatever condition you go home in, with whoever are your friends who you hang out with, there are certain questions, there are certain answers. Those questions don't need answers because you know the question. You tell, "Arey, 12:30 baj gaya yaar already." You know the questions. And what answers you are going to give at 5:30 p.m. only madam knows. So please don't assume that department is doing something unknowingly. They are doing everything deliberately.
Yes.
ऑफिसर विल से 2A 3B मैच नहीं कर नोटिस दे दे देखते क्या करते हैं कितने लोग हाई कोर्ट जाएंगे बताओ यू अंडरस्टैंड सो देयरफॉर प्लीज डोंट अस्यूम द एडवर्सरी इज नॉट informed. They are well informed, like Girish sir said, they are better informed.
Yes.
So they are taking a stand, you take a stand. What is the stand? Stand starts by saying, I will not give books, I will not do reconciliation. This notice is not sustainable under 74. Plan when what reply has to be given. When an observation is given under rule 1014, you are supposed to reply what? You agree to the observation or you don't agree to the observation.
Yes.
Please sit down, answer, slightly long answer. There were 10 observations audit department made, sent an email saying that you have to decide whether you are going to pay this tax or not. Short reply was given saying that, sir, we do not agree. Officer gussa kar gaye. I have written 5 pages and 1 sentence you are giving the reply. Said, sir, ultimately आपको पता क्या करना है? Whether I am paying या I am not paying. If I am paying, you want challan. If I am not paying, you have to proceed to show cause notice. So my stand is I am not paying. Officer said, please give point-wise reply. 10 points are there. Please give reply. Point number 1, we do not agree. Point number 2, point number 10, we do not agree. और गुस्सा करके प्लीज कीप इन माइंड सामने वाला जब गुस्सा करता है इट मींस यू आर गोइंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. ऑफिसर सेड प्लीज गिव रीजंस. यू हैव टू गिव रीजन. इफ आई गिव रीजन विल यू बी कन्विंस्ड? व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ आस्किंग फॉर द रीजन? मजबूत शोकस नोटिस लिखने के लिए वी डू नॉट एग्री बिकॉज इट इज नॉट पेएबल. We do not agree because it is not payable. Point number 10, we do not agree because it is not payable. इतना कमजोर शो कॉज नोटिस आया कि अब एडजुडिकेशन में ही अलाउ हो गया. लेकिन इतने एक्साइटमेंट एंथुजियाज्म के साथ यंगस्टर जाकर के 74, 73, 226, 227 करके ये सब कर रहे हो. मजबूत नोटिस आने के सारे लक्षण मुझे नजर आ रहा है. डोंट बॉदर अबाउट हाई कोर्ट. वी डू नॉट.
So I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
To continue what he has asked, then what is the purpose of 73(5) to be part of the provision of show cause? Because it says either assessee on his own or the ascertain made by the officer.
So if you agree to discharge the liability, you can discharge against DRC 1A and then discharge the tax. You will get immunity from penalty.
But that's when the department is of the view that since we came, we helped you to ascertain, it will always be part of 74, it will never resort to 73(5).
Please keep in mind, बॉलिंग वो करेंगे, डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट बैटिंग यू विल डू. कितने सारे लोग तो एलबीडब्ल्यू हो गए. See, somebody makes a statement does not mean he is convinced with it. Again, I can ask the same example. Certain answers you give at home, you are also not convinced. Nobody is convinced, but rivaj hai, you will give it. So therefore it's a position people are taking, so don't be anxious.
Sir, one more question. We know that the delay condonation is only up to 1 month in case of first appellate authority. Now the issue is pretty much settled because we have had a couple of judgments from High Court, and the SLP has also been dismissed by the Supreme Court that the delay period is not condonable beyond 1 month. Now what to do in such cases? Do we go before the appellate tribunal? Because I think the appellate tribunal can also say that you are before us against the order in appeal and not the order in original.
Correct.
So we would not entertain because there is no inconformity in case of order in appeal. So what is the option available? What is the remedy?
There is one appeal, there is an order passed, 794 days delay. छोटा मोटा डिले मजा ही नहीं है. 10 दिन 12 दिन 794 डेज डिले वाला ऑर्डर आ गया. बेस्ट जजमेंट ऑर्डर, बैंक अटैच हो गया. अच्छा हुआ बैंक में पैसा नहीं था. जब 2-2.5 साल के बाद कुछ पैसा आया और उड़ गया, फुर्र उड़ गया, तब पता चला कि कोई ऑर्डर भी था और बैंक अटैच भी हुआ था. अपील वॉज फाइल्ड. इफ यू सी पॉइंट नंबर 7 in APL 1, date of service of order. Please keep in mind, point number 5, date of order, point number 7, date of service of order. Is there a difference between date of order and date of service of order? लेकिन टैक्स पेयर डज नॉट सी डिफरेंस. हम तो कॉलम और फॉर्म भरने में इतना एक्सपर्ट हो गए कि एवरीथिंग विल मैच विथ एवरीथिंग. डेट ऑफ ऑर्डर, डेट ऑफ सर्विस ऑफ ऑर्डर, पॉइंट नंबर 5. पॉइंट नंबर 16, इज देयर अ डिले इन फाइलिंग अपील. पॉइंट नंबर 7, डेट ऑफ सर्विस, when the bank remitted the money, that is date of service. When it came to the knowledge of the person, that is date of service. Point number 16, is there a delay? Answer, no. Appeal is filed. Person went to file the appeal. The person said, appeal is time barred, we cannot accept your appeal. So the person who went to the department called up and said, sir, वो appeal accept करने में मना कर रहे हैं. लो phone दो. हेलो सर, इज दिस जॉइंट कमिश्नर अपील स्पीकिंग? नहीं, उनके सेक्शन का मैं क्लर्क हो, क्लर्क का काम करो, सील दो और साहब के टेबल में फाइल रखो. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि हम सेक्शन इंचार्ज वो क्लर्क होते हैं, उनको जेसी अपील जैसा ट्रीट करते हैं. उनके नंबर हमारे मोबाइल में स्टोर्ड है विथ सर मिश्रा सर. कौन है ये? एलडीसी फर्स्ट अपील में. तो उन्होंने लिखा पेंसिल में 794 सर्कल करके अंदर भेजे. तो फर्स्ट अपीलेट अथॉरिटी हर्ड द मैटर एंड सेड योर अपील इज टाइम बार्ड. सर, डोंट डिसमिस द अपील, यू प्लीज रिकॉर्ड ए फाइंडिंग. डेट ऑफ ऑर्डर, डेट ऑफ सर्विस ऑफ ऑर्डर इज द सेम. प्लीज रिकॉर्ड, बिकॉज वेन यू रीच ए फाइंडिंग, it becomes a reason for me to carry the matter in appeal, because this is a question of law, question of fact. Now the appellate authority is explaining under 169 there are 14 different modes of service. Online service is also service. Please bear in mind, the purpose of adjudication is fairness. Fairness begins with fair service of notice. You have to serve it to me, not that it will escape my attention, but it will catch my attention. आईटी कंपनी को आप ऑनलाइन में सर्विस करोगे तो जायज है. गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने वाले ठेकेदार को अगर आप ऑनलाइन सर्विस करेंगे तो हाउ इज इट प्रोपोर्शनेट? ये कॉन्ट्रैक्टर मोबाइल सिर्फ इसलिए इस्तेमाल करता है ताकि वो छुप छुप के वीडियो देखे. इनका कौन? सन्नी डियोल का. आप क्या सोचे हैं? नहीं, ठीक बात नहीं है. सन्नी डियोल के जो गदर वाले डायलॉग है वो सुनने के लिए वीडियो देखते हैं, ना कि नोटिस के बारे में पता लगाने के लिए. इफ द नोटिस हैज नॉट रीच्ड, इट इज नॉट सर्व्ड. देयर इज नो डिले. काइंडली पास एन ऑर्डर. Appellate authority accepted the appeal and then decided the appeal on merits. Please bear in mind, if you don't ask, you will not get. There is an instance in Karnataka where the proprietor has died. Proprietor has died. Letter has written to the wife asking her to produce documents. Please bear in mind, a reply was given saying that no, you cannot ask for books of accounts. Officer quoted section 93(1)(b) to say that when there is a demand determined subsequent to demise of the person, the recovery can be taken from the estate of the legal heirs. He did not agree. He issued a show cause notice and said, you please appear last chance on so and so date. A reply was written citing Order 22, Rule 1 of CPC, saying that the notice is delivered to the wife but not served to the husband. Please bear in mind, delivery and service are different things. He replied back saying that wife is the agent of the husband. With the death of the principal, agency also terminates. Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful deliberation. I request all for a standing ovation for the sir. As very well said, कि our loyalty should be to our law and our craft. And with respect to the intricacies involved in notices, he had said that only there are 40 different situations in which various cases notices can come to the client. So very well taken by you, sir. And I really appreciate the way you drafted and delivered today's topic, that is drafting of reply to GST show cause notices and appeal before the appellate authorities. Now, I request the audience to please settle down for a moment. Here are some important announcements with respect to the post-lunch sessions. So, I will request you all to please stay for a while. Now, I request our eminent speaker, CA Jatin Christopher sir, to felicitate our committee members for doing the Herculean efforts for the grand success of this conference. I request Advocate Ashutosh Thakkar to please come forward and take the memento, followed by Advocate Bharat Sheth, thank you, CA Jigar Parikh, CA Fenil Shah, followed by CA Jenil Shah, Advocate Ratilal Vagasia, Advocate Ratilal Vagasia ji, CA Harshil Sheth, Advocate Tejas Shah. Thank you all. I request all the dignitaries on the dais. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please come forward for the group photograph. Next technical session sharp at 2:30 p.m. I request all the members to please assemble at sharp 2:30 p.m. The next session is going to be on NRI taxation and FEMA implications by Advocate CA Dhinal Shah.